Hi, isn't the sky just beautiful today?
We're in a cave 50 miles underground.
Hi, this is really random, but I think you're pretty.
What? You're mumbling.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
How's your day going?
My day is great.
Nice. Anything different that you usually don't eat that you ate today?
Huh?
Hi, I forgot your name. I'm so sorry.
We have known each other for 5 years now. We see each other at least 3 times a week.
Social awkwardness. I would say since the age of around, I'm guessing 8, I've been called that. I've been identified as that. It's one of the main inhibitors a lot of us go through when we have ADHD. Like, it's almost foolproof that if you have ADHD, you're gonna suffer from some kind of awkward, social, inept type of problem. Because of just having one thought after the next, going from that to that to that, not being satisfied from that to that to that, and just not being solely focused on a conversation with an individual that is present, they're not going to exactly know what's going on with that. So they're going to take it out as awkward, as this person doesn't know how to go and have a conversation correctly. Which leads a lot of us individuals who struggle with ADHD to think that we are not accepted in a social environment, which makes us very shy, quiet, in total avoidance of having a conversation with anyone, because that's how we're viewed as awkward. Luckily, just like with ADHD, it's not a stem of our own bodies. It's not something that we're just imperfectly born with in life, like an unsolvable blemish on our health. It's overcomable. There are certain measures and facts that can be taken to overcome this, and totally just leave it in the dust and act like nothing even happened. ScienceOfThePeople.com did a perfect article on ways to overcome social awkwardness. I'm going to link this website down below with the article and really dive into some of these steps and how it really helped myself and how it has helped me with coaching other guys with social awkwardness. Because again, trust me, it's one of the biggest thing, if not the biggest thing I've struggled with my social environment. I still get called it here and there today, especially when people talk about my videos, but I don't care because I end up proving them wrong every time. Again, you're talking to a guy who's literally picked on for that same issue by people with speech impediments who couldn't even talk a correct sentence. Fact 1, be a good listener. When you go into a conversation, that's what you are doing. You're going into a conversation. It's not about you. It's about conversing with another person about them and you. So don't go in it with an aim of what's building up inside of your head to literally spill onto someone else abruptly. Because you assume, oh, well, I have a buildup of something social inside of my head. Let me just spill it on out in here and get this going with this social activity. It just creates a very awkward moment. Because that person you're conversing with awkwardly doesn't know how to take it and could lead to a very uncomfortable situation for that person. So stand your ground within the conversation and just sit back and listen to what the other person is conversating back to you. Back and forth. Keep that motion. Fact 2 is to stop playing the victim. It's going to keep happening over and over again until you can successfully learn to move past it. But when it happens, don't announce it. Don't say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so awkward, I don't mean to say stuff like that. Or, I'm sorry, I'm not very good into it. Don't say shit. Stop playing the victim. Just roll with the punches. Go with the flow. Pick up on what correctably needs to be attended to and fix it and move on. You're not a victim. No one's a victim. It's life. Fact 3 is to practice social situations with the environment all around you by starting small and working your way up. Start by just saying hi out in public to neighbors or whoever, people walking down the street. Go to the store, conversate with the bag clerk or whoever, whatever. People who work at the store, talk to them. Just generally people who are put into positions of hire to be social with the environment, because that's what they're basically placed there for, so it's a given. Good way to practice. Once you can smooth your way from that to bigger stuff, it's just so effortless and easy. It's just like having a conversation just like the normal ones you were having before. You have to ease into it. Fact 4 is to replace negative thought with positive thought as humanly possible in some cases. Because when one feels awkward, you wouldn't think that they're going to feel positive most of the time about themselves, especially if they're being called on, picked at for what they're perceived as nothing's going to be coming positive within their head, especially when they're stewing it up and they're all quiet. They're only going to perceive it as negative, which sometimes turns into sabotage and then just kind of blows up back into their face. So replace any kind of a negative procedure that is going on with a positive one. Don't perceive negative as negative. Perceive it as positive. Because once that mantra just keeps going through your head, it instantly just starts to happen. Positive comes into play. Negative is cast away. Fact 5 is to be empathetic. Really care about any individual you're conversating with in any type of social inept environment. Really care for their presence. Be appreciative of their presence. Be enthusiastic of their presence. Feel excited that they're there talking to you. Make them feel welcomed, as if I'm glad this has happened and I want this to happen again. Fact 6 is personal space. Don't get up into people's grill to the point where they're uncomfortable. It just adds more into the uncomfortableness they're feeling from your awkwardness. If someone is just basically being nice to you and just can clearly see that you need help with this type of setting, so they basically throw you a bone and conversate with you while enduring the painfulness from your awkwardness. Awkward people tend to latch on, which means they won't leave that person alone because they finally have someone to talk to. Same thing with people with ADHD, just it's a tendency. But it's a thing to learn to keep your space, keep your boundaries, because it earns you the respect of that person, that you respect their personal space. And that's all we want from this world, for us and for everything else, is respect. Fact 7 is to filter what you say. Don't just blurt out anything inappropriate or uncanny to some people, because again, it's going to create that awkward moment. It's going to create that discomfort. It's going to create people avoiding you because they see you as just blurting out stuff without even thinking it through your headspace. Just to, oh, I think that's kind of funny, so I'm just going to say it now. Fact 8 is to laugh at yourself. Now, the thing about being awkward is it's fucking hilarious. I don't know why people don't talk about this as much, but it's like the funniest fucking thing when someone is awkward. It's literally acting like a person who just has no idea what's going on and completely steers a situation into another situation that's not even going on. I mean, why doesn't that sound like the funniest thing ever? Laugh at it. When you catch it, laugh at it. Who cares if everyone's still looking at you weird that you're laughing at it? Who cares? Laughing is infectious. When you start to laugh at something, other people will tend to start laughing as well. Especially if they're already feeling that way, and people always love to laugh. Plus it shows more acceptance of yourself, and it cools you off with ease right back to that conversation, especially after a good laugh. Fact 9 is read body language. Pay attention to how that person is physically putting themselves out there. Even if they're listening to your conversation, is the eye contact there? Is it enthused eye contact, as if they want to physically look at you to listen to what you have to say as an interest of it? Are they facing their body towards you? Are their arms crossed? Are they free flowing? Are they open to you? That's what you want to see, is if they're open to the conversation. If not, move the fuck on. Fact 10 is to generate storytelling questionnaires towards people in conversation to avoid awkward moments. That's what creates an awkward moment. It's just a blatant blurt out of a certain item or something that is totally uninhibited by the other person in the conversation, that they're kind of stunned and don't know what to say from it. There's nowhere to kind of like go in a direction with that certain blurt out of your head. It just becomes awkward. So ask questions about that person that can proceed into a certain storytelling atmosphere that they just unload to yourself. It really creates that bond because it shows that you have taken time to show interest in that certain person so they can explain themselves to you, rather than you try to unload onto them when they never even thought that would happen. In fact 11 is simply remember everyone's name that you come in contact with. You don't want to forget people's name. That's who they identify basically in this whole world. There's so many of us, and just remembering a name can go a lot farther than you would think, because that's what identifies someone in a conversation. And if you can't remember from past conversations, say if you talk to someone over 10 times and you're still meeting them and you can't remember their name, that's disrespect. It's as if you weren't even listening those 10 other times. That's kind of awkward. What were you doing those other 10 times? That's what the other person's gonna think. Well, what the fuck were they listening to those other 10 times? Do they even care? So guys, if you feel like you are socially inept and dealing with social awkwardness in your environment, straining from ADHD or whatever it shall be, study these facts and become a social genius.
Saint Perigine, patron saint of all forms of cancer. We ask you for your help in asking God to heal my cancer and keep it in remission. Pray for me so that I may live a long and faithful life.